Hey everyone, this is Kevin, the Apptrepreneur, and if you have clicked this, then I guess my experiment to see if people would click on a video of mine to see a cryptic message video turned out to be successful. Just a little something I'm experimenting with. Not that this is going to become the norm. The truth is I actually have two topics I want to talk about and I didn't know which one to give preference to, so it's like, you know what, maybe I'll just be mysterious about this. I'll just throw up and it's like, hey, this could be about anything, and we're going to talk about it. And I'm making this video as stated because there were a couple of topics that came up over the weekend. Now, for the record, I had a very, very busy weekend. I don't even think I uploaded a video on Friday or Saturday. If I did, I certainly don't remember it. That's how crazy busy this week has been. But a couple of things happened that I was aware of, and I didn't make videos about them. And I have now gotten enough responses from people asking, why haven't you commented on these topics? Like, why haven't you made a video? You know, are you losing your touch? Are you moving on? Why are you making videos about Netflix and Roseanne? Like, you know, this isn't what the Apptrepreneur is. The Apptrepreneur is Uber. And I think we need to talk about a very different number of things going on right now, because you know what? I'm glad you guys care about what I do. I'm glad you have an opinion on what I do. And I always welcome criticism. And I always want to discuss constructive criticism. And while I think some of these comments aren't fair, they are constructive. And considering what this channel has been for so many years, we probably should continue to talk about them. Now, first of all, let's talk about the Netflix and Roseanne videos, even though the Roseanne video was really an iTunes/Voodoo video. My channel's called the Apptrepreneur. It's not called Kevin the Uberman. It's not called Fat Guy Complains About Uber. It's not rideshare beta or whatever the heck you want it to be. It's the Apptrepreneur. And the Apptrepreneur could mean a lot of things. That's one of the reasons I picked the title. Apptrepreneur could mean, and what it typically meant, as someone who designs apps. Okay. When I picked the name, I liked it because it also could represent someone who was an entrepreneur who mainly made their money through app-based programs. Also, the Apptrepreneur, I'm having trouble saying my own name. That's amazing. Could mean that I review apps. Or the Apptrepreneur could mean I talk about app-based stuff that was created by entrepreneurs. Netflix was an entrepreneurial thing. It wasn't like a big thing forever. It used to be like this little thing in the closet that they decided, hey, I don't want to pay late fees for Blockbuster anymore. And before you know it, look where they are. So the Apptrepreneur could mean a lot of things. It could technically even be a sly way of saying tech review. It could mean many, many things. Now, I have been focusing on Uber in the gig economy, and I will continue to do so as the other topics we're going to talk about and my video on Friday will show. But the Apptrepreneur, what I like about the name, gives me the opportunity to branch out and talk about other things. And I told people last year that, you know what, I would start slowly talking about other things. And I am starting to slowly talk about things. Now, for the most part, the reception has been positive. I wish people would comment more on those videos so I could basically figure out if I'm doing it right or if I'm doing it wrong. But most of the comments I get are from people who are like, I don't understand it. This isn't Uber related. It's not all going to be Uber related. It isn't. And you know what? My last video, hashtag I was screwed by digital media. If you buy digital movies, music, video games, whatever, it is probably important to watch a video like that and definitely consider it. It's actually probably more important than some of the couple of things that I'm going to talk about right now, believe it or not. So that's my first thing I want to address. The second thing I want to address is this story about the Uber Payments app not working. Now, I was flooded with emails and tweets and stuff, and I had a fairly sarcastic attitude. Maybe it came off that way, so if it did, I'm sorry. But I had plainly and bluntly told people there's no story here. It's a glitch in the app. You can't cash out on your instant pay? Well, that's a glitch, and Uber will fix it in a couple days. To me, that wasn't a story, and especially since I've kind of brought myself down a little bit from uploading a video every single day, or 3 or 4 videos every single day, because apparently that's bad for the algorithm. And since cutting back and being more focused and doing fewer videos but more substantial videos, my channel has grown a little bit more. It's had better legs, it's had better earnings. People like that they're not getting spammed every day with stuff that I do. And to make a video about a situation that is just a simple glitch, that was not worth it to me. But that, with the next story, I realized I need to talk about it now because people saw this as me shirking my responsibilities, especially when other YouTubers started making videos about it. And I'm not going to start naming names because, you know, there were a couple YouTubers that I don't get along with and I don't want to throw them under the bus. And then there are a couple YouTubers that I like and I don't want to throw them under the bus. I like to keep the peace as much as possible. But several YouTubers I know did make videos about it. And it makes a little bit of sense. I'm not saying it doesn't. Not being able to cash out on your earnings is definitely something that affects some people. I mean, if you're living paycheck to paycheck or instant pay to instant pay, then yeah, the day that you can't do that, you can't get gas. So therefore, you can't do Uber. That is a very, very dangerous way to live, by the way, but, you know, point well taken. It affects people. But all those people had pretty much the same response. The app's not working. And then a couple days later, they made follow-up videos like the app is working. I knew it was coming. And I thought that was kind of a self-explanatory thing. Look, I obviously don't like Uber. Or at least I don't like what their management does. But this is not something they were purposefully doing to try to screw you. The app just wasn't working. And a couple days later, they fixed it. And I didn't think that was worth commenting on. You know, and I mean, the fact that other people did, maybe it was worth commenting on because it affected enough people that it kind of gained a lot more steam than I expected. Like I said, I thought that was just like, you know, common sense. Oh, it's not working, so it'll be up in a couple days, but it affected a lot of you. But that's why I didn't comment on it, because I didn't think it was a story worth talking about. Now, here's the thing. Had it not been working, I even told someone, you know, if this thing isn't working for 5 days, then you've probably got a story. Because at that point, Uber is well aware of it, and if they haven't fixed it by then, something is seriously up. But I think it took like 2 days for them to fix it or something like that. So they were aware of it. The other story, and this is the third thing I want to talk about, is the California Supreme Court ruling. Now, I have talked at length about the new law in California that reclassifies some independent contractors as employees. There was a company that got sued, I think it was Dimex, if I recall correctly, but if not, I'm sure you guys will have fun correcting me in the comments below. And they were basically found guilty of not being 100% honest about how the independent contractor status worked. They were claiming they were independent contractors, the people that they hire, they were ICs, but they were treating them like employees. And of course, the reason that became big was because Uber and Lyft and Postmates and DoorDash, they're doing the same thing. And so when the legislation was being voted on, we talked about it on the podcast. I've made videos about it that, hey, if they actually pass this, then yeah, that will change Uber and Lyft. Well, the California Supreme Court has upheld that change. And so people are asking me, why haven't you made a video about that yet? And the answer is because, okay, it's a thing now. Here's the problem. Uber and Lyft haven't actually reacted to it. I have made enough videos and discussions and podcasts on the subject that basically all that stuff still applies. There's only one thing I can make a video about, and that is how do they react? What happens to the companies? They haven't reacted yet. Uber and Lyft will either have to change the way that they do business with their ICs, or they're going to have to go out of business in California. And they haven't done either one of those things. And another thing they could do is they could stand in defiance of the new law, but we don't know if they're actually doing that yet. And even if they do it, we don't know what the court's response is going to be. Right now, they're acting and operating the exact same way they were before the bill was even considered, before the law was even discussed. So, frankly, there's nothing to add right now. In fact, if anything, it's really strange because the businesses that got hit the most by this were barbershops and tattoo parlors. I didn't realize so many barbershops and tattoo parlors, they didn't have employees. They had independent contractors, and a lot of them just quit because of the new law. So they're being affected right now the most. But I don't talk about barbershops and tattoo parlors. I'm not going to get a tattoo, and I barely get a haircut. Believe me, ask Katie. I don't get too many haircuts. And we just don't know how the rideshare companies or how the food delivery companies are going to react. Now, once we know what their response is to this, once we know how they're going to play their hand, then I can talk about it. But if I were to make a video about that, all it would say is the California Supreme Court has decided to uphold the law. And granted, I have done videos like that in the past, but again, I'm trying to make more substantial videos. And maybe it's because I've been doing it for 3 years, but I don't like making a video anymore and then having to knowing I'll have to correct it a day later. You know what? I'm finding a new system and it's starting to work, and I have a little bit of freedom. I love the fact that I'm making videos other than Uber and Lyft. I still like making the Uber and Lyft and Postmates and DoorDash videos, but I like expanding, and so when these smaller stories that don't have a definitive conclusion or they're pretty self-explanatory, I don't feel the need to make them. I just don't. So, and I've been experimenting with this channel a little bit more. As it continues to grow, I want to see what else I can do with it, because that day that Uber goes out of business, and I suspect they will go out of business, it might not be this year, and it might not even be next year, but I suspect Uber will go out of business at some point because they have just never been profitable. And, you know, the changes that they've been making to become profitable have done way more damage than I ever thought possible. I mean, it seems like the drivers are finally now taking their pay seriously. And in fact, there is a protest. Forbes magazine was reporting on a protest in Chicago from drivers, which I believe a regular Uber tuber, Driver Lady Pro, helped coordinate. So you see, even the Uber tubers are getting in, and we are protesting and not driving like we never have before. And this is all in response to Uber finally squeezing us so dry. Most sensible drivers have just said, no, it's enough. And they are starting to do what they need to do to get the media's attention about how horribly we are treated. So, I guess, what was the point? So the point is, it's still relevant, and I'm still talking about it. And I don't think this subject's going to dry out anytime soon, because it seems to be gaining momentum. But just like those animation reviewers on the internet whose careers died because all they did was review My Little Pony and Teen Titans Go episodes, and they got all these views until those shows weren't as popular anymore, I don't want to just be Uber. So when it comes to Netflix and Roseanne and iTunes, and for the record, I will probably continue to discuss like MoviePass, and there's a topic on Dropbox I'm contemplating on making. I haven't decided if I'm going to talk about that yet, but I'm thinking about it. I'm just seeing what I can do to not be so pigeonholed, so that we can have days where I'm spreading my wings. And if you don't want to watch those videos, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Although I do invite you to watch them and to give me feedback on them if I'm even doing them properly. And keep in mind that this isn't an Uber video, is not exactly feedback. But I would love to know what those videos are doing. But I'm still going to be making my Uber videos. And again, on Friday, I've got probably 2 videos. You might even get a video tomorrow, because someone gave me like a little tip on email yesterday and about Lyft. And it's definitely something worth talking about. But that's why I didn't make those videos. That's why I'm expanding a little bit. And I appreciate everything you guys do, and I welcome the feedback, so I will continue to read the feedback, and I will continue to take into consideration. Ultimately, it is my channel, though. I do need to do what makes me happy. This is a lot more work to run a YouTube, and I run three. I run 3 YouTube channels because I finally came to the conclusion that Ask Me on YouTube will be shutting down, and the more popular videos from that channel will be moved to another channel. So that's what I've decided. But I have to do what's best and grow those channels as best as I can, and I want to continue to grow the Apptrepreneur. And so the core videos, the Uber, Lyft, rideshare, those will not stop. But I will expand a little bit. And that's just how it's going to be. But I do appreciate you guys commenting. And so for those who were disappointed I didn't make a video about those subjects, here's our video about the subjects and why I didn't do it. But anyway, aside from that, what do you folks think? Does this make sense? Do you still have more you want to say to me? The comments are where you want to be. As long as you know you don't call me fat or you're all eating, those comments will just be deleted because I don't have time for stupid like that. I'm done with Uber. I don't need more stupid in my life. But yeah, comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. In fact, if you can consider becoming a Patreon member, let me know what kind of videos you want to see more of. You know, because even as little as $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.